Okay, family, welcome to another episode of Feel Free TV with my sister here, Natasha.
Hi.
Okay, so it's rare that we get a female perspective on the prison industrial complex. Um, I'm glad that she's here to join us.
I'm
And
excited.
first of all, give us a little brief summary of your involvement in the justice system. Like, how did it start? Your first involvement?
Um, I was just really wild as a teenager. I was born to a teenage mom, and she always worked. So by the time I was old enough to be outside, 13, 14, the Easy E era, we was stealing cars. My first boyfriend was a drug dealer. So that's where it started. And then as I got older, my first fiance was a very, very large drug dealer from Brooklyn. Um, Unfortunately, before we was able to get married, he was murdered. And in my house, there was an abundance, over $1 million worth of drugs. And I started to use them. So with my cocaine, the beginning of my cocaine addiction, I began to move reckless. So I began to get arrested all the time for minor things. It started minor things, but I think my choice in men was a real big part of me doing prison time. For example, my first state bid, in a total I did 3 state bids, 2 to 4 for each one, and then 2 violations per bid.
Wow.
Not counting all the city time I did. Every year I got arrested. Like, I never was home more than 30 days. But my first time in state prison, it actually was me dealing with a guy, and we got pulled over, and he put his drugs under my seat, and I didn't tell. He bailed out. I went to jail, and that was that. So I was technically my choice of men. I always wanted the bad boy. Always wanted the bad boy, and even though my mom was a teenager, like we had money. We had money. My mother's been making 6 figures for years. So, I had to go outside of home to find trouble. So I can't blame it on anybody else.
Wow. Okay, so you say it's mainly your choice, and then
yeah. All my boyfriends been gangbangers.
Yeah.
Same gang, same set, drug dealer. Like I was always looking for the plug. Who is the plug? Because I'm greedy.
So let me ask you this. Why do you think you was attracted to these type of guys?
My father. My father is currently, my father's name is John Cuff. He was the enforcer in Preacher Crew. And he is in federal prison right now. He has life plus 300 years. He was a hitman. He was a cop first, and then doing security for Preacher, ended up being his lieutenant and his enforcer.
Wow.
So, I grew up around nothing but drugs and nothing but guns, and it was easy because he was the police. So that, of course, that's the type of man I'm attracted to strength. Period. I want the baddest one in the crew. Who's the baddest? Who's gonna do whatever so we good? That's the one I want. I'm still the same way. I respect a man now that wants a 9 to 5 and to pop your shit off at 6.
Yeah. I feel you. Okay. Now, I want to ask you, because I've been incarcerated, so I only know male perspective of being incarcerated. I've never really got a female perspective of what females have to go through.
Yeah.
Your first time upstate state penitentiary, what was your experience? Like, far as being new into a state penitentiary, like.
It was humiliating. I had to take a shower, and they made me use Quell, and it was like 6 of us in there.
What's Quell?
Quell is lice killer. So when you come to the female state prison, the first 10 minutes, you're in the shower, they take all your clothes, you're butt naked, everybody is 6 of y'all, The curtain's open because the officer is standing in the middle of the shower to make sure you got quell in your hair, your armpits, anywhere you have hair, pubic hairs. If you got hairy legs, they make you put it on your legs. And then
Now, is it a female officer? Or
yeah,
no?
it's a female officer. And prison for women is harsh. It's predominantly female correction officers mostly, and they have nasty fucking attitudes. Like, bitch, I'm in jail. So they want to humiliate you to the fullest. And then, mind you, we're in jail with nothing. No weave, no makeup, no nothing. So whatever you use at home to make you feel comfortable as a woman, because we're going to be honest here, most of us have issues anyway. That's just part of being a woman. So now we're stripped of all that. So as I said, it's humiliating. It's lonely because you also have the attitudes of the other women around you. So females are not like men. You rarely find females that can be cool with anybody. We have hang-ups. We don't like each other, petty shit. And then the support system is also not the same. So now you're definitely by yourself. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully, which normally happens when you're on the bus, when they pack you up, when they wake you up that morning on Rikers and say, you on the bus. Everybody's happy because you want to leave Rikers, of course, because you want to smoke and you want to go outside and you want to cook food. But hopefully you're on that bus with somebody that you're cool with. Most people that get sentenced to state time do a lot of time on Rikers Island. So you make friends, but for the most part, it's scary. You don't know what to expect. And then especially when you're a woman that has dealt with men who have been in prison, you only know what their jail is like. So of course I got the husband that stabs people in prison. So how do I know this is not gonna happen to me when I get there? When I first went upstate, I was married. My husband was in federal prison at the time. He had just caught his case, and he's still there. This was in 2003. However, I didn't have no support. So who's gonna take care of me? Nobody took care of me. I didn't get no visits. Every time I've been upstate, I've never gotten a visit. Not from family. My best friend came to see me once, and it was because he seen a segment on the difference between the men's visit floor and the women's visit.
And that's what I wanted to ask you because, I was incarcerated 12 and a half years. Mm-hmm. I went on the visits probably my last 4 years quite often. And it's always women on the visiting floor to see men.
Yeah, a woman will do your whole bed with you. You go to jail, your man and moved on with your friend. Yeah. Or most likely he ain't your man anyway. Niggas lie. So you definitely, you're lucky if he send you money. Women in prison have to fight to see their kids. If they have a visit, it's their mom. Like the support is. And then they leave their children behind. So now there's no money for you. Yeah. You ain't gonna meet many women that meet a dude as a pen pal and he come up there and he wanna marry her. That doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen. Now, it happened to me.
Yeah, it happens to men all the time.
And it happens I've known men where it happened to multiple times. I know guys that's been married 4 or 5 times just in prison.
Right.
And they've been locked up 20, 30 years.
Yeah, well, you know what? When people have the misconception that if you marry a man in prison or you find somebody in prison that when he comes home you're all he got. Yeah. He don't even know who he is when he comes home. You don't know what he's gonna do. Right. And a lot of times, that's where women make a mistake. Men are not that. Men don't think like that. You know what I mean? They're not. So you don't see it a lot. Like if you do see a man with a woman and they met through prison, he's most likely older and somebody he knows is in prison, and that's how they met. Yeah. He's probably an older man. He sees she's beautiful because once we get to state prison and we do get our stuff, we get makeup, we get all type of stuff. You're at your best. You're healthy. You're glowing. Your ass is fat. Your hair got long. You're not using drugs. Hopefully. And so, you glow different. You're working out, going to school. These are all the things I did when I was in prison. I went to school. I did this. I did that. So I became a better me. And as I told you, I was a drug addict for 19 years, in and out of jail. This is the first time that I maxed out in 2016 and I don't use drugs no more. Because I just got tired of using drugs. Like, that shit is ridiculous. You still sniffing coke? No, it was backwards. Also because of the man I was involved with. Like, he is very strong-minded, real intelligent, and he don't use drugs. So, you know, it was an embarrassment for me. I knew that if I used, he would leave. So that's another story. Anyway, yeah,
So
the support is different.
The support is definitely different. So I want to know, how long were you incarcerated?
So altogether, as I told you, I did. My first state bid was in '03. I didn't max out till 16. I didn't spend 1 year in the street.
Oh, wow.
So I did like 14, 15 years too.
So let me
12
ask
years
you,
too.
what was one of the habits that was hard to break, that you gained in prison, but it was hard to break when you came home?
Using the bathroom with the door closed. The door's always open when I use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Always. I'm always talking when I'm using the bathroom. I'll be on the phone with somebody. I was on the phone with my mother the other day. And we're on FaceTime. And I go in the bathroom, I put the phone down. She don't realize I'm in the bathroom until she hears the toilet flush. Just like, did you really just take me to the bathroom with you? I'm like, Mom, what? You're a girl. Yeah. Like, I lost that sense of secrecy. Like,
because you don't have privacy.
At all.
You don't have privacy in prison.
Please, me and my sister live in the same house. It's only 2 of us. We have 4 bedrooms. Her room's in the attic, my room's on the 2nd floor, you know, downstairs is common use. I always come out the shower with nothing and walk up the steps. She'd be so mad at me. And she did 22 years, but she's a very private person. She spent most of the time in shoe, stuff of that nature. So it's really hard on women. And then you have, you know, homosexuality is prohibited in the men's jail. Not in the women's jail, everybody got a bitch. So
I'm glad you touched on that, because it's a big difference. Like, a lot of people they watch a lot of prison movies and they just assume, like, when a guy goes to jail, either he's gonna get fucked or he's fucking somebody.
Right.
And it's not like that.
I know.
It's very small percentage of people who partake in it. And as far as guys getting raped, that's hardly ever happens.
Yeah.
And if a guy does get raped, most likely he is gay already.
Gay. Yeah.
You know. But as far as women, like, how is it with the homosexuality?
It's like an automatic. It's like an automatic, because we need, you know, that emotional attachment. We need that. Yeah. We need that attentiveness. We need that. So it's like, as soon as you get there, you're like, who's that? Is she single? Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, yo, bitch, you cute. You too.
Y'all clicking
Let's
up.
Fuck.
Like, wow.
You know, but also, we take care of each other.
Yeah.
So the majority of the time, once a female gets to prison, you know, by the time she gets up there, she been on Rikers or whatever jail she been in for months and months and months, she already fucking with girls. Yeah. That's not everybody, but it's a very small percentage of women that don't do it.
Okay, see, it's the other way around.
It's the opposite, right. Yeah. Or she's fucking with a CO. Definitely. Because they are nothing but dogs that know a package and a carton of cigarettes could get their dicks up. Bringing a bottle, bringing some liquor in their thermos, forget it.
Now, let's talk about that, because my next segment after this was going to be about sexuality in prison in general. And I was talking to someone about how men in prison sometimes are able to have sex with the correctional officer, the counselor, the nurse,
right?
Like, it's
the civilian,
like it's like, it's so crazy how these women that work in the prison are thirsty for the men that are incarcerated.
You know why?
Even
why? Because she's the only one that has him. That's what that is.
She's the only one that has him.
Right.
But it's men that work in the prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want a man that work in the prison because he could go home. You know what he go home to. It's retarded. It is retarded. Crazy. Like I said, you know, to my significant other, I said to him, any bitch that wants to marry a dude that's got 1 million years in jail and you don't know if you're ever gonna see him again and you don't know him, is thirsty as hell. Period. I said, because I was, you know, I ended up in a situation and I constantly tried to tell him that your relationship that you came home to was about control. Yeah. This person, I'm not saying she didn't love you, but she loved the fact that she could control what you did because you all she know. It didn't work out for her, but you know, it's a reality. It's a control thing. If a woman wants a man that's first of all, she can't get a man that's in the street, number one. and have a healthy relationship with him. Um, then if she's never been to prison or dealt with a man in prison before, she doesn't know that he's going to come home with all these issues. Bottom line is, prison destroys people. Now, can you fix yourself around the destruction? Possibly, but most of the time, not. You know, that interaction between a man and a woman is what we need as humans.
We need that.
So if a man is in prison, he doesn't have that on a regular basis, or a woman. I'm not the healthiest relationship because I'm very insecure, and I'm also very angry. So, like, our arguments turn out into all-out fights. Like, no, you know, I lose it because I don't have it. I don't have the patience. I don't have the interaction. I was married for 20 years. My husband has been in jail for 18 of them.
Yeah.
And he's in the Fed, so I can't even see him. Yeah. So, you know, anybody I'm in a relationship with has to work really hard around my hard parts. Now, if I'm in a relationship with somebody that's just as retarded as me, you can imagine what that shit is like.
Yeah.
It's like, only time we get along is if I'm cooking or we fucking. Other than that, everything's a problem.
Yeah. So let's talk about the sexuality in prison with females, as far as the female prisoners dealing with the officers.
Your main goal is to snatch an officer. Mm-hmm. Like, if you are, you know, so there's a lot of women that come to jail and they just want to do their time, but then there's those that know that you need somebody to take care of you. Yes. And if you got to hook it, line and sinker if it's an officer, because if things go left, you can always send him to jail and sue. Mm. I know a girl. She was my bunkie. She became a millionaire. Every prison she went to, she had a lawsuit. She would give an officer a blowjob, spit the sperm in the towel, and send the towel in, and press charges on him. Wow. She's a millionaire.
In prison. In
prison. She has a proxy. She's a millionaire. She's buying sneakers for everybody. Like, that's how she made her money. She came home with some money. Yeah. They bought a nice big house, all for selling sex in prison. You know, I am not the type of person that can be intimate with somebody that I don't care for. Mm-hmm. Not anymore, anyway. You know, of course, I was young. I was pretty, like, you know, but there's a mutual attraction, but I wasn't trying to keep your ass. However, in prison, majority of my prison time I spent really trying to keep my husband together, you know, and having to pull strings for mail and also fight my addiction. So a lot of my prison time was spent therapeutically, me trying to get whatever I needed so that I could stop coming back, because it seemed like it was a revolving door for me. My 2 to 4 ended up being 3 2 to 4s, and I didn't do no time free at home. I did 2 violations on each number. So how much time did you spend in the street? I would come home for 30 days, go see parole once. Next thing you know, I'm getting high. By the time 30 days is over, I then got arrested for some shit I had in my pocket, and now here we go back upstate on the violation. Yeah. So, but women in prison mostly, you know, we already know that we're gonna need that support. Or sometimes it happens where you're friends with somebody and that person is gay. Next thing you know, you're attracted to them. You know what I mean? So, you know, they start doing little stuff for you. We always cook together, we click up, and then next thing you know, y'all fucking. Yeah.
As far as violence,
I know one person that actually stabbed somebody. Her name's Tammy. She's never getting out of prison. She was a hit woman. And she had a fight or something happened with one girl, and the girl's girlfriend wrote a statement. And she cut her face with a box cutter that she got out of this storehouse, which, with her crime, she ain't supposed to be working there. I mean, this is a maximum security prison. Like, there's only 3 women prisons. There's only 3 prisons. There's a medium, a max, and a minimum. And that's it. And then we have work release. We don't have prisons everywhere. Yeah. So Bedford is the only max. This girl is in Bedford for the rest of her life. You let her get a hold of a box cutter and cut this girl's face open. And a keloid, and then she cut off the bone from here to here. So, you know, it was ugly. But as far as that, no, you might see regular fights, but you really don't see those, because we fight in the bathroom. We don't fight in the yard unless, I've seen 1, maybe 2 yard fights. And it was over a girl. You walk up and your girl is outside. She don't think you coming to wreck. She outside talking to another girl. Next thing you know, y'all fighting. But all our fights take place in the bathroom.
Okay.
Girls talk a lot of shit. Not many girls want to fight.
Yeah.
And not many girls know how. You know what I mean? You got the rough ones. Like I had a few fights, but like I said, they were in the dark.
Yeah.
I always went to lock because people always told, but nah.
Yeah, so it's different in the men's prison. It's like
we trying to get home. We ain't trying to fight.
Like the dudes are like, it's like the violence.
Yeah.
On the 10th level, like you got guys that kill you by mistake.
Right.
They just trying to fuck you up and fuck around and kill you. I've seen that happen so many times where guys about to go home, get into an altercation and kill somebody by mistake.
Right.
And it's just like, the violence is just crazy. But I just want to see the compare.
Yeah, because you don't have no outlet.
Yeah.
You don't have no outlet, you know what I mean?
Sometimes you have to find an outlet.
You have
because it's not always just offered.
Well, you know, a lot of people, their response to prison is from what they heard or what they fear. Like, you can't tell me that a person coming to jail don't get raped in a men's prison. Like, I always thought, you know, you got to be real tough not to get your ass
either you're going to get raped or you're going to be taken butt.
Right. So, you know, people coming to jail, man, they have that conception. They think this is what's I got to take the nigga out because this is what's going to happen to me. So, you know, fear will make you do things that are unnecessary. And over the top.
That's definitely true.
Over the top. So, you know, when you have all that bottled up in you, you could get into a regular scuffle and it's over. My friend whose house I spent the night at last night, my friend Dave, you know him. Matter of fact, he's the one that sent me the link for our Hudson Link thing.
Okay.
David Coleman, big white boy.
Yeah.
I was the first person he met when he came home. We were both in the castle together. And so he didn't know how to do his phone. I had to hook his phone up. So we're friends. Like, you know, we vibe. I spend the night over his house when I come to New York, if I'm not at a hotel or whatever. We went to go see a girlfriend of mine last night. And her boyfriend started acting retarded. And told me to tell my man to step outside. I said, first of all, that's not my man. Hey, you don't want this nigga to come outside. This big ass white boy, you don't want him to come outside. But you never know who you're dealing with. Yeah. He don't know that this dude just did 40 years. Yeah. He don't know he killed somebody with his hands. But you're, you know.
Yeah, you're just going off of perception, judging the book by its cover.
And not in the house acting like y'all in the yard. So the two people that were there before we got there, they were having a discussion and it was yard talk about slippers, or you gonna go outside with your slippers on. Stupid shit. See, that shit's stupid to me. Yeah. We don't do that. You know, nobody's thinking about, I gotta wear boots to the shower. No, when I go take a shower when I was in prison, I wore my fluffy robe, my shower basket, my bonnet. You know, I was like a fucking girl.
In prison, it's like
it's different.
It can happen at any time.
Right.
So in prison, sometimes you wear your boots to the shower. Sometimes you might even take your boots in the shower with you. I've even seen guys showering with their boots on.
Yeah,
and they'll clean their feet.
I never knew the severity of being ready, so you don't gotta get ready.
Yes,
until I got with him because he would wear his boots to the shower. Like, why you say have this fucking net bag? You're not gonna meet no girl that has a net bag. Never.
Yeah.
First of all, they take it from us when we're released. Second of all, we don't want it.
Oh yeah. I still got.
You still got yours? Yeah. Every guy I know, Dave still has his.
I still got a net bag with a bunch of shit in there.
Yeah. Amir actually takes his to the that's a shower bag. I'm saying, like, we can have a whole apartment. Why do you never fucking shower bag?
Yeah. See, these are some of the habits that I was talking about. Like, I realized, like, when I came home, that I was still jumping in the shower with my boxers on, because in prison we don't shower butt naked.
Oh, see, that's another difference between us. We don't care.
See,
everybody's naked. Can you hold my hair up? It's like
totally opposite.
Right.
Men, it's not even close.
Oh wow, I never knew that.
And
because
no one is showering.
In prison movies, they be naked.
No. Now you have old timers who was in prison when it was totally different. Mm-hmm. You might catch some of them showering naked.
And they just probably won't turn around. But
and what it is that you have this new generation, so they'll react different when they see these old guys in the shower naked. And for instance, this guy his name was Coco. Swear to God, this is Coco. Coco probably had like 25 years in prison.
Oh my God.
Coco was from the 80s.
Right.
Now he was in prison where everybody showered naked, where rape was prominent then.
Yeah.
Now it's not, but then it was. And Coco showers naked, and he don't give a fuck what you say, what
Right.
you think,
And what you gonna do about it?
or what you gonna do. You're gonna have to do something to him,
Right.
or you just gonna get out the shower.
Right.
You know, he's just that type of guy. And it's been times where like I'm in the shower, I see Coco coming in, I just okay, it's time to go.
Time to go. She's about to get butt ass naked.
Coco about to get butt ass naked. It's time to go. And it's like 2 showers divided. She might have like 20 showers in this stall,
Mm-hmm.
20 showers in the other. You'll see everybody running out, going into the. You'll look up in the mirrors and be like, okay, Coco's over there. And everybody will run into that shower. But
our showers are not like that either.
Yeah.
The car wash. We call that the car wash. Now they have those showers where it's like a big one, like a room like this, and there's nozzles all around the wall.
Yeah.
But only like in shock. When I went to shock,
Okay.
that's how the shower is.
Okay.
However, I was disqualified from shock the first day because of my
Can you
history.
tell them what shock is? Because a lot of people don't know what shock is.
So shock is a program. It's like a military program that it's supposed to be for 6 months, and you go to school and you work out and you run around singing cadences, and it's very easy to get kicked out. However, if you have a violent, it's really only for people with drug crimes or money crimes. If you have any violence in your history, you're not staying in shock. They have the right to physically force you to do things. If you put too much food on your plate and you don't eat it all, you'll be carrying it in your pocket. It's really military. You're carrying logs. I remember one day they had us scrubbing the floor with a toothbrush because somebody dropped a cigarette butt on the ground instead of in the bucket. But as I said, I stayed there for a month waiting to be transferred, but I was disqualified the first day. Because even though I didn't go upstate the first time until 2003, in 1997 I had stabbed somebody. A dude smacked me in the store and I stabbed him. I ended up with 6 months, 5 years probation, but it's still a violent crime.
It's still a violent crime.
So when it comes up on my rap sheet, it says to cause injury through risk of death. Retarded.
Yeah. So shock automatically.
Shock, they like, we don't want this bitch. And it follows me everywhere I go. Please, I've been in the newspaper a couple of times. Now I'm happy that it's for good things. Yeah. You know, but at one time I even stole a blue and white police car to get away.
Wow.
And the newspaper title was Car 54, Who Stole You? It was in the Post. April 1st, 2010. That's how I caught my second state bid. Of course I wish I never had to go to jail. But then again, who would I be after that? You know, right now I'm a leader and an activist for just leadership. I've made history. I've got laws changed. That bail reform law, my organization did.
What's the name of your organization?
Just Leadership.
Just Leadership.
Just Leadership. So we the ones that started the Close Rikers campaign.
Okay.
So the Close Rikers campaign is not the only campaign we have. We have freedom, because the Close Rikers is already done. The vote's already in. You know, it's just a process now we have to deal with. So we have Free New York campaign, which has to do with over policing and bail reform. Yeah. That's where the bail reform comes. We have another campaign. I can't think of it off the top of my head. We're doing the same thing in Philly as well. It's in the Philly jail, trying to close that. Okay. But what the misconception with the Close Rikers campaign is they think we just want to build new jails. With the closing of Rikers, and the new jails that are built will be run differently. They won't be run by corrections. You know what I mean? There's security, and then there's social work and teachers and programming. You know, we've gotten so many people released from Rikers Island with the bail reform, more than half of the population. And now with the COVID, you know, people that are city sentenced, we've got majority of them off of Rikers Island because they're not. The crime is not violent. If it's not violent, you don't need to be there.
And you haven't been convicted.
That's another thing.
So you're just sitting there.
At least with a violent, I mean, we couldn't. Our goal was no bail at all. You know what I mean? But you have to be realistic. You know, people are going to commit crime. That's just it. Crime has been since the beginning of time. There's been thieves. There's been murderers. There's been rapists. It's a reality of the human people. However, everybody's human. You deserve the right. You deserve the same thing that I deserve.
Yeah.
So because my mother has money and can bail me out of jail, and your mother doesn't, you're supposed to sit on Rikers Island and die of COVID? No, that's insane.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I wouldn't change what I've been through. I would change some of my decision making after the fact because I still have the same track of like. But I think that's a personal issue for me. You know, I can admit that I've changed a lot. I'm a lot more secure in who I am. I still have, you know, every day you have to work on yourself. But who I was 10 years ago and who I am today are two different people.
That's good.
And it's for the better.